The Department of Education is thankful the earthquake occurred during school holidays. Not only were many lives possibly saved, but repairs can be carried out without disruption to classes. Both Wickham Public and Newcastle SSP School will be relocated. The 34 children at Wickham will attend either Tyres Hill Public or a school close to their home. It's believed that school will be demolished, but a final decision is still to be made. A new demountable school will also be set up in place of Newcastle Special School. The mentally handicapped children will begin classes a week later than everyone else, while a site is chosen. The Junction Public School also sustained major damage in the quake and was fenced off this morning by Public Works. Demountable classrooms began arriving today and will be used until the school's future is decided. Classes will also be held in demountables at Merewether High while damage is repaired. The Department of Education says all schools in the region, no matter how minor the damage, will be checked by a structural engineer.
Between now and when school starts, admittedly only 3 weeks, all schools will be visited by a structural engineer and by members of this department, and if there is the remotest doubt in terms of safety, a demountable classroom will be provided.
Thanks, John. Well, one interesting thing to come out of this evening's press conference is that the council estimates that 1/4 of all the buildings in the city centre have been damaged in some way by the earthquake. We've also been told that the George Hotel on the corner of Watt and Scott Streets and the adjoining Carrington Chambers will be demolished within the next few days. However, the National Trust has asked that a conservation order be placed on those buildings. There's still no word on Beaumont Street in Hamilton. They say it'll be another 4 or 5 days until all the buildings are assessed there. A new speed limit will also be enforced on Monday. Vehicles will be restricted to 30 kilometres an hour in the city centre. Roads and Traffic Authority will be erecting those signs over the weekend and they'll be enforced until the city is declared safe. That's all from me, back to you.
As he did yesterday, Mikhail Purfors began by setting up long rallies, often stretching each other across court. Lendl began to dominate early, unleashing his forehand power to claim the first game. But Purfors had a few tricks of his own. Purfors cost himself plenty of points when he dropped concentration during rallies and made unforced errors. Lendl showed great court coverage and showed no signs of a back injury that slowed him up in practice. However, Purfors demonstrated his footwork and caught Lendl out of position, and Lendl's racket bore the brunt of his frustration. The world's number one regained his composure in the second set and broke Purfors' serve. Lendl then continued to mount pressure and Purfors cracked, giving the set and match away with an unforced error. With the start of the second game, the wind picked up, playing havoc with high balls. Christo van Rensburg kept many of his shots low and capitalised on the drop shot to win the first set. After losing the first set, Carl Eustebe came out on a mission and won 3 straight games. Van Rensburg answered with the first ace for the day. Steve countered from the baseline and powered through the unpredictable wind to claim the second set 6-1. Van Rensburg returned to the third set completely committed and played every shot to win despite the odd collision. Steve tried to answer with a passing shot but couldn't contain the South African, who chased everything to the net. Van Rensburg won the match after Steve mishit a service return.
"9 o'clock and it's business as usual in the city centre. For many owners, this is the first opportunity they've had to enter their buildings, and there's still vivid reminders of the day the quake hit. Most businesses will spend the day cleaning up and will open for trade tomorrow. Those that did open today found business slow.
Probably today we'll have some sightseers, but after everybody's seen what's happened, I don't think we'll get a lot of people in town the way it is. There's a lot of areas that are quite dangerous, and I personally think they shouldn't really open this part of the city yet.
Repair work is still going on in many parts of Hunter Street. Barriers indicate which buildings are unsafe and makeshift walkways have been erected around them.
The death of their mother more than 60 years ago was to have a devastating effect on the lives of these two women. Anna was 6, Katerina 2. Poverty forced Anna out to work in the homes of Russia's rich. Katerina too had to work from the tender age of 5. Anna married at 16, then war-struck. Both sisters spent 5 years in German concentration camps, the Gestapo allowing them to meet only once. Anna and her husband escaped to Belgium, coming to Australia as political refugees. For 17 years, while Anna was raising her 4 children here, she had no idea whether her sister was alive or dead. Katerina was alive. She'd been sent back to Russia to work on the roads. A marriage, 2 children, and a lifetime of struggling was to follow. Once contact was regained, the sisters wrote frequently, praying for the day when they could be together again. But it was only after the death of Anna's husband 5 months ago that the Russian authorities relented, allowing Katerina to make the trip to Australia. And what a reunion.
Very, very happy, you know. But I see my sister for a long time. Very happy.
And have you had lots to talk about?
Oh, yes. Yes, talk it, you know, crying a lot and talk it little by little, you know. We just start now.
For Katerina, it is doubly overwhelming. She believes Australia is heaven, and Anna's daughter's home near Maitland, she says, is fit for a king. The video, microwave, dishwasher, to Katerina, unbelievable luxuries. Anna intends to spend the next couple of months trying to help her sister forget years of torment in their homeland. But then Katerina says she will return. After all, she smiles, it is the only life that she knows.
The Marrickville mauler and his childhood sweetheart, Tanya Foster, last night became the proud parents of a bouncing, boxing baby boy, Beau Paul Fennick. Already the apple of his father's eye, the new arrival was little more than a few hours old before he was sporting his own set of gloves, the white woolen variety. As well, one of Beau's first presents was a Garfield toy, complete with bright red boxing gloves and shorts. A steady stream of friends and family arrived to offer their congratulations. In between, Jeff was on the phone spreading the happy news. There was no sparring over the choice of the baby's name. According to both Tanya and Jeff, they needed look no further than their favourite daytime soapy Days of Our Lives, choosing the name of the popular character Beau Brady. There wasn't even a contest when it came to deciding just who the new arrival resembled.
He's a lot like Jeff, I think. He's got Jeff's flat nose. And I can't see anything mean in him.
The Builders Workers Union says this operation is deadly. They claim fibro sheeting full of potentially lethal asbestos dust is being removed from the roof without any regard to protection. Union organisers ordered the workers to down tools, but their order met with a flat refusal.
None of the procedures are being followed at all at this point of time. As you've noticed down below there, the material is stacked there in a heap. It's not covered in any way or wet down, and there's no provision for these protection for the workers themselves.
When the union approach failed, the Department of Industrial Relations was called in. Inspectors met with the builder in private, unlike the union organisers who failed to pin him down.
I think what we need to do now is to find the owner of the building. I don't know whether the DIR are here, and we're going to have to say some pretty strong words to the owner.
How dangerous is this situation, Bob?
Well, obviously I haven't been on the roof, but you can see by the asbestos lying around that it's not being done properly. The report that I heard was that there was some young blokes up there, we don't know who they are, so that if they're not doing the job properly, the people inside this building and around it are breathing asbestos dust. Now, asbestos dust causes cancer, I think everybody knows that by this time, and this is the sort of situation that we've been afraid of.
Late this afternoon, a stalemate remained. Leslie Robinson, NBN News. After the demolishers vacate, the pest controllers move in. Their quarry are the cockroaches and rats dislodged from their ancestral homes.
Well, throughout Newcastle we have plenty of old buildings, and in those old buildings the cockroaches do harbour. And once those buildings are destroyed or damaged, the cockroaches move out.
And when they move out, they seek shelter. Their first choice is the sumps and gutters of suburban streets. A council pest control team is spraying all areas likely to harbour cockroaches, with baits being left for rats.
The products are quite safe products. We've specially selected them for these areas, and there's no harmful residues to the environment.
And no danger to humans?
No danger to humans whatsoever. It's only the cockroaches that are in danger.
In conjunction with this operation, more than 200 tonnes of perishable food, much of it fly-blown, has been removed from restaurants and shops damaged by the quake.
The 12-heat test match is sure to rekindle the simmering feud which exists in these special clashes. The Yanks are still smarting over their 2-1 defeat last season and have bolstered their team with hard-charging Aaron Miller from California. Miller joins Pearson, Mike Klein and Chuck Wardell. The Australian selectors have opted for an all-Hunter Valley combination of Pine, John Brown, Stu Robinson and current 10-lap record holder Peter Garrett, who will be making his first international appearance. The Super Sedan test will be supported by compact speed cars from Sydney, who have pledged half of their prize money to the Lord Mayor's earthquake appeal. The Pocket Dynamo is the current holder of 15 national, state and country weightlifting records in the 52 kg division. In 1989, Greg had wins of the National Country Championships in Tasmania, the State Country Championships in Goulburn, the New South Wales Seniors titles in Newcastle and the Australian Commonwealth Games selection trials in Melbourne last month. Add to those performances a third in the Moomba International and an 18th in the World Championships in Greece, and it's easy to see that Greg will be hard to toss in the Commonwealth Games in Auckland in a couple of weeks' time.
Police released this picture of Michael John Swazak. The 16-year-old unemployed school leaver was last seen at the Islington Bowling Club on New Year's Eve. The club was hosting an AIDS benefit night. Swazak was apparently seen leaving the party at about 3:30 a.m. His remains were found in scrub beside the Pacific Highway south of Kurua on Monday. It's believed he died shortly after New Year's Eve. Although no cause of death has been established, homicide police are anxious to know about his movements between the club and that grisly discovery at Kurua. They've asked anyone who may have seen Swazak during or after the party to contact them immediately.
Halfway down the straight, Sunalong Lass the leader from Hot Zephyr. Stimulus wide out, but Sunalong Lass has got away from them close to home, and the Bonnie Mare is too good. Sunalong Lass wins the Carrington. Sunalong Lass got there.
She is opposed to a much stronger field tomorrow, but with her jockey Mitt Dipman riding in sensational form, Sunalong Lass is the one to beat. Her opponents include the brilliant 3-year-old Show County, outstanding Coffs Harbour sprinter Lightning Bend, and the proven weight for age sprinters Groucho and At Sea. For the Randwick Daily Double, Gary Harley suggests Charter in the first leg and Corkage in the second leg, race 7. The Rubiton Stakes is the feature event on the program at Sandown in Melbourne, and for the trifecta on the Rubiton, 7, 3 and 2, Scarlet Bisque to beat Strawberry Ranch and Princely Heart, and for the Sandown Daily Double on races 7 and 8, Very Droll in the first leg and Kingston Rule in the second leg. Greyhounds bound at Beaumont Park tomorrow, and Gary likes Young Garrett in the first leg of the Daily Double and Petal Appeal in the second leg, and for the trifecta on race 9, Young Garrett to beat Like a Revenge and Nation Lou. The Maitland Harness Racing Club is expecting a record crowd to attend tomorrow night's meeting, which features the final of the Carlton Intercity Pace. Tamura-trained Paleface Avenue is the early favourite. However, Sydney Pace at Twilight Time, to be driven by the state's leading reinsman Chris Gleeson, will challenge for favouritism on course. The Harley trifecta on the Intercity Pace, Paleface Avenue to beat Twilight Time and Circus Maximus, and for the Daily Double, try Overactive in the first leg and Paleface Avenue in the second leg.
Newcastle's Bolton Street was jammed with traffic this morning as workers continued partial demolition and renovation work on the QBE Insurance Building. With the footpath blocked, pedestrians were forced to walk on the road, taking their chances with the traffic. Others disregarded barriers and walked inside the construction area. Building Workers Industrial Union organiser Bob Cochran says council is flirting with danger.
If the authorities don't get their act together and start behaving more responsibly, then somebody is going to get seriously injured or even killed.
The union says council should check city construction areas daily to make sure pedestrians and passing traffic will be safe. Bob Cochran says if dangerous streets aren't blocked off, the unions will stop all construction work.
What we've said to the council is if they will not close areas off like this and make them safe to the public, then we'll be asking our members to stop work.
Building contractors Clark Vaughan, working here in Bolton Street, agree with the union. Yesterday, fearing danger to passing traffic, they took matters into their own hands. They closed the street off for 3 hours.
Well, it's pretty dangerous. We had a slight technical hitch with the rubbish chute, and it was in danger of coming down, so we just had to block the street off.
This afternoon, Town Clerk Barry Lewis closed Bolton Street between Hunter and King. Mr Lewis said council engineers will inspect construction sites for any danger to the public. Meanwhile, council proposed to reopen Derby Street at the Parry Street intersection next Monday, following repair work to the old wool store. The parapet of the building is to be pinned back. A spokesperson for the owner said repair work had only begun 2 days ago, while insurance claims were settled. Peter Ryan, NBN News.
Since biblical times, the Macedonian Orthodox Church has held this ceremony to bring good luck to all seafarers. Amid the pomp and splendour, there's a competitive aspect, a chance for the young Macedonian men to earn glory and the respect of their peers. As Father Smilkovsky blessed the water, they sat patiently, eyeing the cross that would soon be flung into the pool, each determined to be the first to retrieve it. There were a few false starts, but then the real throw came. 14-year-old Tony Trimchevsky emerged the winner, a victory said to ensure good luck for the next 12 months. Tony will guard the cross until next January when, as tradition demands, it will be thrown once again. For 3 weeks, the Broadmeadow High School Stadium has been a one-stop shop for government departments and welfare agencies. Earthquake victims have come here for emergency help and advice. The 400 staff have attended to almost 13,000 inquiries. For that, they earn praise today from Family and Community Services Minister Virginia Chadwick, Lord Mayor John McNaughton and the Governor.
We want to congratulate you and thank you for everything that you've done in holding this city together, pulling it all together, keeping the show on the road and surviving what has been a very difficult time for everybody.
From Monday, each government department will return to its usual premises. Family and Community Services will continue to coordinate disaster relief, with the operation directed from Beneficial House in King Street, Newcastle.
Since the earthquake, it's been a long, hard slog for Hamilton shop owners. 4 weeks without regular customers has made it difficult for many small businesses to survive. According to Newcastle City Council, about 45 unsafe buildings are preventing Hamilton and Broadmeadow from operating. By next Monday, those premises deemed unsafe must be barricaded by timber or steel hoarding so the business life can begin to trickle back into Hamilton.
They'll have to be erected within 7 days of the notice being received, which will be today.
Or if they're not erected, what will happen?
The council will erect them and send a bill to the owner.
A major concern for council is out-of-town property owners who are unaware of the urgency of the situation.
I'm fed up to the back teeth with them. They're not doing the right thing, and they can, sit wherever they sit outside the city and not give a damn about us. But if we don't get any action from them, well, we'll just move in and make their building safe and send them a bill for it.
While the council is doing all it can to reopen Beaumont Street, the small business people say they are crippled through lack of finance. Although the government has promised monetary relief with low-interest loans, businesses are finding it difficult to gain approval without real estate backing. To save Beaumont Street, relief needs to be immediate. The Lord Mayor has a number of proposals to put to the disaster committee set up by the federal and state governments, which he hopes will assist those people who need vital financial aid.
People who are totally insured with loss of profits can't get a payment on that until they start business again and can assess the extent of their loss of profits. Now, that's not paying the bills this week or paying the rent or the grocery bill today. So that's one thing that's got to be addressed.
Procter & Gamble currently produce some of the country's most prominent detergents, beauty care products and health goods. A reorganisation and a strong base for the company's planned expansion into the Asian and Pacific markets has necessitated the need for a new site. The company has settled on a 20-hectare block in the Berkeley Vale Industrial Estate that will allow them to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The site currently houses an old steel engineering and construction factory. Procter & Gamble are seeking approval from Wyong Shark Council to spend $80 million redeveloping the old factory. The production line is expected to be in full operation by December, producing a new line of disposable nappies. The production process will use pulp imported from North America, a factor that General Manager Dennis Beaujour says will virtually eliminate pollution.
We really feel strongly about the environment. We've taken a worldwide position as a manufacturer to take care for the environments in which we operate in. We have a pretty good track record around the world and we'll be improving on that in Wyong.
The factory will initially employ 170 people, with that number expected to swell to as many as 500 within 10 years.